All right, Father Gordon. Well, we're back here.
We're back,
and,
picking up off of our fireside chat where we've introduced Josh. Now it's time to give the state in review. Here's the year.
State of our church. And, you know, I'd love to mine your brain. It's been an eventful year for all of us. What's your... how would you characterize this past year, Father Gordon? It's been tumultuous for all of us, but how's it been for you? And how do you view our parish?
If I can use this analogy, right? We got hit in the season of Lent with this pandemic, and everything changed, and we were supposed to shelter in place, so we kind of shut down because we didn't want to risk anybody, and then we opened up slowly. And it's that time in our church calendar that as we go into the Easter season, we read the Acts of the Apostles. And the Acts of the Apostles is like a day-to-day serial adventure. And especially for those of us who are going to daily Mass or preaching each and every day, because we have a daily Mass, every day is like a serial adventure of the early church figuring it out with no rule book, but the Holy Spirit's directing it all and pushing them in directions they had no intention of going. Like, they think they're going to do this all orderly and organized, and as soon as we get a plan, oh wait, there's a persecution, everybody run. And then wherever they go, suddenly the Spirit's, getting deacons to talk to and baptize Samaritans. Well, no, they didn't want, nobody likes the Samaritans. It sent them in all sorts of directions that they didn't anticipate. Or, maybe their own biases said, we're going to put them last on the list. Nope, they were first. First on the list. They were right next door. Let's go preach to them. And push them in all sorts of strange and interesting directions. So I think of actually the Acts of the Apostles as kind of an interesting, I suppose, image of this last year. There's all sorts of things we knew. I mean, the mission is the same. In some sense, I suppose, if absence makes the heart grow fonder, we appreciate all the more the value of community and faith, and that we are people of Easter, and we believe in life eternal, even if life in this world is fragile and shorter than we would like it. The power of prayer, the power of lifting each other up and praying for our world. As, again, the anxieties of our community, it's not our community, we see it through our nation and our world. All the anxieties that we have from this year have been flashpoints on any number of topics, right? I think, the anxiety has boiled over in all sorts of ways, and communication has broken down in all sorts of ways. And it's an election year to boot, so everything's getting politicized. Let's just throw that in there just for kicks. So what a beautiful day to appreciate the gift that it is the Spirit that unites us, that we are one in the Lord, that our sacredness is something that is God-given. It's not something we vote on. And we have good news. We have good news. And now we've had an opportunity to announce it in ways that maybe we haven't taken to this extent before, as we've been challenged to now take our Masses online, up our social media presence, take advantage of the small group discipleship, which we've been promoting for the last 2 or 3 years. The Spirit has provided this. This was provided well in advance of when we knew we would need it. We just had no idea how much we would need, that we connect, and that when we say, our home is the domestic church, that we really can see what is the true vision of the Second Vatican Council, the rise of the laity, that we all take responsibility for the mission of the church, that our homes are missions, that we are inviting the neighbors in, that we are sharing faith, that we are lifting them up, that we are praying for our neighborhoods, that we are reaching out, that we are caring for one another, that our faith spills out from the church, that we renew it every Sunday, that's good, or as often as we come to liturgy, but that is there for our renewal for the sake of mission, that we can go out and renew the world. And so, in some sense, we've been challenged, and our numbers might be off in a lot of ways that we would consider normal, but in some sense the Lord has provided. The pieces of the building blocks were in place before we knew how much we would even need them, and it's gone to new directions and new heights. And even speaking of our outreach Mass, which has been a staple of East Lansing for 35 years, who knew how much we would need that? And how many people are watching? How frequently now we're hearing from people in Saginaw Diocese, Gaylord Diocese, halfway through Michigan. They're reaching out and saying, hey, that was a great homily. We've really needed this. And thank you for this ministry. these beautiful gifts that we've had in our community have really found new fruit. And so the mission has gone in different directions. I'm sure the Holy Spirit is doing what the Holy Spirit is always doing. We just don't always get a heads up of that in advance. Sometimes you just find yourself being shoved in a new direction, and it has been a fascinating experience. We're still figuring it out, but it's been a fascinating mission.
It really has been. You know, it's interesting, you know, you talk about our mission with everything changing everywhere all over the world, and how you live daily life even. It's totally different. I never thought I would experience the frustration of showing up at Meijer to buy some groceries and realizing I forgot my mask. It is the most annoying thing in the world. And everything seems to be, you know, in this turmoil, right? Yeah. As things change, but our mission has stayed the same throughout it all. It's being lived out in new and varied ways. It's funny you talked about the outreach mass. You know, our online community is growing across the world now. We just got got someone from Austria, I think, was it?
Yes, we had a comment from a former parishioner who's
in Austria.
How
could we have ever done that, you know, before the pandemic?
It is, and I suppose, I mean, it reminds us, I mean, because we are a community with one of the largest universities in the world that outreach through our alumni and our former parishioners, it is worldwide. Sometimes we're just not aware of it, but now we have a better way of actually relating and connecting and following up and ministering to. And it has been fun for folks who, for various health reasons and infirmities, everybody's got to make those decisions of how safe they can be and how safe they need to be. But people have been making virtual pilgrimages, visiting various parishes, visiting various communities, you know, sometimes attending Mass in the Vatican via online. You can do it. And people have been coming to us well beyond our borders, and that has been terribly exciting as a renewal of the ministry and the mission. So it's been a fun challenge. Now, of course, we're sort of boiling it down to brass tacks as far as how do we sustain that mission. There's always a reality to it of that we give our loaves and fishes to the Lord, and it never looks like enough, and yet the Lord always multiplies it to sufficiency. But it's nice. We want to give you a little bit of an update. As things have changed, obviously we want to shore up some of the deficits, because now is not a time to retract. Now is a time to grow. Now is an opportunity. Opportunities have arisen. This is an opportunity for us to increase our outreach, not have to scale it back. We just have to figure out the ways to make that happen. So we thought it'd be nice to give a little report of here's where it is, but again, realizing that this is very new, it's very changing, and now's the time that if you know what are the details, that we can all react to it as a community and capitalize on it. Not to see these as you know, something that is necessarily bad. It's an opportunity. Right? It's a new situation. We can look at that as a negative, or we can look at it as an opportunity. And I think if we look at it through that lens, beautiful things will happen for the future.